rescue op. Save the dinosaurs from an island that's about to explode. What could go wrong?
Hello, welcome to Fallen Kingdom. We return to Jurassic World 1 minute at a time. I'm Brad.
I'm Dave.
And here we are back to discuss minute 56 of Fallen Kingdom. But before we get to that, David, I don't think we've talked directors for Fallen Kingdom yet. Mr. J.A. Bayona. Looking at his movie list here, I don't think I've seen a single thing that he's directed before.
Before
Fallen Kingdom. I definitely did notice his name when I was watching the new Lord of the Rings series, and thought, oh,
yeah.
This looks really good. So what happened with Fallen Kingdom?
Well, before I had seen The Orphanage and When a Monster Calls. It's just A Monster Calls, and both I enjoyed it as horror movies. They're kind of gothic themed, which you can really also see come across in the second half of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
So I do like his directorial style visually, and I wouldn't really place too much of the story elements on his shoulders, being that Derek Connolly and Trevorrow wrote the script for the movie.
Yeah, and that's why I thought it was worth sort of talking about him now that we are heading into this second. Mm-hmm. It's almost like this the second part of the film, or a different film, it feels, because we didn't really have any of these scarier, haunted. Maybe haunted's not a good word for being on Nublar, although we did sort of, I'd say the old Main Street and that was a bit haunting, seeing it all there decayed and run down, but we definitely go up into top gear here with Lockwood Manor, and especially once the Indoraptor gets out.
Yeah.
Those that have seen his films before, I know a lot of people say that's very Bayona. That's what he's good at doing. So I'm not a big haunted horror big horror fan. There are a couple of movies I do have watched and love, but for the most part, I watched too many things I shouldn't have when I was young, so...
Oh, I'm a horror fanatic. I really wasn't much when I was a kid. I really kind of didn't like horror movies at all. It wasn't really that there was a scare factor. It was just I thought I found them unrealistic. And once I kind of got over that thing, like I wasn't really big on fiction in general as a kid. So once I got over that, what you want to call it, like a prejudice or whatever, I started really kind of enjoying horror movies a lot more.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And it's a look at the genre as well, like what's happened in the last few years, where you've had some of these horror movies that have been nominated for Best Picture and that. Like, I'll say the quality has definitely come up a lot since Friday the 13th Part 3, or a lot of the 80s stuff, which I suppose you had to be there to see it when you were younger to have the nostalgia for it and that. But there are a lot of films like that, a lot of horror films.
I don't have nostalgia for it so much, but I do kind of enjoy the look, the cinematic look that they had back in those 80 horror movies. They used to kind of, and you see it come through in the first Jurassic Park a bit with Dean Cundey being the cinematographer on that movie, where you kind of get these blue tones in the shadows. And you don't really see that a lot so much in modern films.
I love the sort of looking at how it's made sort of side of things, and there's some films there. There's one real low budget one called Hell Asylum that I have on DVD, and they're just using pasta and pasta sauce as intestines. And it's that clear. It's that clear, but I love. It's almost like backyard filmmaking, just fans or creators doing that sort of stuff in their backyard, and they're getting a DVD release, and maybe 1,000 people are seeing it. It's little movies like that do get seen and get recognised, and they all of a sudden the director gets thrown into a Marvel film or something.
Well, yeah. I mean, when you get into some of that low budget stuff, you can get in some real shit shows in the production side, and even some of the like higher budget stuff can be that way too. But especially when the lower budget, the less professional you have on the production side of it. For example, when Tobe Hooper made Texas Chainsaw Massacre, he used like a lot of the human remains, the skeletons and stuff in that are real human skeletons. And like there's a moment in the movie where they have a dinner scene, and I guess they were between the studio lights filming in the summer in Texas. It got like 120 degrees on the set, and everybody started going loopy, and some of the acting isn't actually acting. And I think they did it all with like one take, and because they tried doing more takes, and they're like, "No, what? This is just getting dangerous. We're wrapping this up."
That's like a lot of times you hear them using actual. They'll use pig carcasses or offal and that sort of stuff, and that stuff's got to keep refrigerated, otherwise there's some real smells.
Well, that was the other thing is like the food on the table. It was actual food, and that was starting to stink really badly, and was not helping the mood on set at all.
That was a tangent.
But then you get Tobe Hooper come back for Poltergeist, which Spielberg kind of had to step in and puppet direct because Tobe Hooper was making a movie Tobe Hooper would make. I mean, he again bought real corpses because fake corpses would have been more expensive to build. So, like those skeletons and corpses you see in the movie Poltergeist, those are real. I mean,
it was a different time.
If I had $1 for every time Tobe Hooper used real human remains as set decoration, I'd have $2. Which isn't a lot, but it is kind of weird that it happened twice.
So yes, J.A. Bone. Tangent there.
Apparently, Bayona did some major rewrites for the second half of the movie, and you can see that because the horror factor on the movie is bumped.
I wonder if some stuff that Colin just put his foot down, like we're going to get to it, the whole Indoraptor and Wheatley side of things. You have the goofy lunacy stuff there, and then you have some of those real horrific, suspenseful stuff in the main museum or lobby with the Indoraptor stalking the survivors around the building. So, but we're going to get to that in the minutes coming.
Yeah, they're coming up soon.
Yep.
Maisie, what are you doing up?
There was a man here today with Mr. Mills.
It was probably just some business about the sanctuary, that's all.
I heard them talking. They're going to sell the dinosaurs. They're bringing them here.
What? I'm sure you misunderstood.
I know what I heard, Grandpa.
Maisie, it's way past your bedtime. Let's talk about this in the morning.
But...
Maisie, I'll find out tomorrow. Go to bed.
Good night.
Good night, my heart.
Dave, ready to get into minute 56?
Sure.
Alright. Minute 56 of Fallen Kingdom opens with Grandpa Lockwood having a sleep and ends with the Arcadia steaming towards a storm. We're going to get to that. As we continue to minute 56, Maisie creeps across the room to Lockwood's bedside and eyes the open photo album on his lap. She reaches to try and draw a picture from one of the closed pages, but this wakes him up. We're still getting this menacing photo album. We've seen him carry it around before. He's obviously protective of it and doesn't want her to see what's inside of it. It's a shame we had to wait all the way until Dominion before we started seeing some of the photos that are in it.
Yeah, in this movie we only really see the one.
Which is, it's young Maisie with
Iris.
Iris, that's all. I don't know if I was going to say Irene.
Well, it's cool because they ended up using an sorry, I got my dog. She's she wants to play.
Co-pilot.
So yeah, you have the this younger photo of Geraldine Chaplin that they've photoshopped Isabella Smith with, or not? Yeah, that's her name, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that they photoshopped Isabella into. So it's kind of cool because, I mean, everybody's seen. I mean, she was kind of a looker when she was young. Geraldine Chaplin. If you've never seen some of the movies she's done, it's cool because she actually ended up playing Charlie Chaplin's mother in the movie Chaplin, wherein Robert Downey Jr. played Charlie Chaplin, and she's actually Chaplin's daughter.
Yeah, I think we brought that up when we were looking at her IMDb.
Yeah.
Just weird that full circle where she can come back and play a role like that. Because yeah, that's right. For those that aren't aware, the photo is a pretty heavily de-aged Iris standing there next to Maisie.
Yeah.
Interesting too. He sees Maisie standing here and asks why is she still up. Which we seem to have cut to nighttime here, but when we cut to Arcadia, it's still daytime. So I don't know if he's just a little bit confused because he's been sleeping. He's fallen asleep there. We don't see a window or anything. We know Mills and that were downstairs. He'd met the auctioneer during daytime. I don't think the auctioneer would be hanging around after night either.
Well, he's there for the auction, and it's kind of weird because the time frame here is confusing because it would, in theory, take more than a few hours for the Arcadia to get from Isla Nublar to Northern California. You would expect maybe he'd be hanging around for the day, but he seems to be almost anxious just to get the heck out of there. And the time frame presented in the movie makes it seem more like he's just standing around for a couple hours. I don't know, maybe drinking beers or something with Mills.
Well, also just the processing animals off once the Arcadia docks and getting them into their cages in Lockwood Manor. I know it's not all of the animals. There must be some that are still on the ship, but even that, it's like this. It's all happening this night.
Mm-hmm.
And the Arcadia hasn't even made it back to California yet, which we'll see next.
Yeah. When you end up thinking about it, the complaint that the movie kind of ended up feeling overly condensed in the end is not without merit.
And it's a common issue. All these films seeming being a little bit off with timings and that, but that's why we look past them. She tells her grandfather that there was a man here today with Mr. Mills. Lockwood replies it was probably some business about the sanctuary. That's all. This poor deluded old man thinking this is all going towards the sanctuary. I wonder. I think we mentioned before. I just wonder what fake stuff Mills has cooked up to show Lockwood. Just fake photos of Costa Rica or something, or the tropics, just to convince the old man that this is all happening legit.
Yeah.
And then she spills the beans. They're going to sell the dinosaurs. They're bringing them here, and we do see this sort of gets Lockwood's attention a little bit. He sort of questions it for a little bit before just shaking his head and saying she's up past her bedtime and it's late. And after some protesting from Maisie, she stops and leaves the room after saying goodnight to each other, which I'm pretty sure this is the last time they see each other alive too.
I think it is. Yeah.
To have it end on this conversation, but I think the message has got across, and we do see that coming up in a couple of minutes' time, where Lockwood will confront Mills, and it doesn't go too well for Lockwood.
No. I do like, though, Lockwood's reaction here, just because it's very sweet. He doesn't want his granddaughter to be worrying about these very complex issues, and so he's just wanting her to be a child. And so he kind of just brushes it off, like he doesn't believe her, but in reality, then we see, yes, he took everything she said very seriously.
Yep. It's just the difference between Mills early yelling at her to get out of the room, where here he's been a bit more caring. After she leaves the room, Lockwood removes his glasses and sets them down on the closed photo album and quickly slides the photo back between the pages. So I don't know if he woke and seen her hand on that photo, or he's just noticed the photo now sticking out. But again, tucking that secret back away into the book, we won't see until a couple of minutes' time. Anything else on the bedroom scene? That's all we're going to get there before we cut back to the Arcadia.
Yeah, we're good.
That's when we cut back to the ocean and the Arcadia getting rocked by strong seas. It's steaming towards a massive thunderstorm here. We see the lightning going on, dark clouds. I'm not quite sure why, because from memory we don't have any conflict on the boat apart from maybe it rocking slightly, and that's causing the Tyrannosaur head to go back and forth. I know it's the midway point of the film and we need to have a storm, but it doesn't play. It really plays less involvement in this than what the one in the middle of Fallen King, Jurassic World did, and that just wet the ground. Can you think of anything coming up with the boat where the storms?
It does almost feel like a missing scene here, because there's a storm, but like you said, the inside doesn't seem to be visibly affected by it. And it looks like a strong storm. I mean, you can see the lightning strike there. But in the end, maybe it's just one of those storms where it's all flash, no substance. And that's entirely possible, too. You can't deny it's a cool shot with the sun setting behind the clouds and the lightning striking on the horizon.
Well, again...
it might just be there as a cool shot.
Yeah, and it is a great visual. Again, it's another King Kong visual as well.
Yeah.
And I could see this sort of happening if the Arcadia was heading to the island with the volcanic activity building or something as well. Just it's out of sequence, but I'm just trying to remember. I don't think it's not raining at the dock when they get back to Lockwood Manor. It's not raining or lightning anything there either. We did hear that there was a deleted scene with the Dilophosaur on the boat. I wonder if there was something there where the boat's rocked or a wave's crashing against the boat and its cage has been knocked over or something.
That could have been.
Yeah. But it is a good shot. And this is also where the minute ends. We don't cut... as the minute ends, we cut inside the cargo hold with some animals. Not tranquilised, bellowing in sadness. So the scene's set. We're about to enter back into this ship and see what's been happening there with an injured Blue and our trio, soon to be... Oh no, it's quadrilogy. What's 4 people? 2 pairs of people in the bottom of the boat. So Dave, no, do I have something for the novel? No, the scene from Maisie and Lockwood isn't in the novel at this point anyway. We just cut straight to Mills leading Toby Jones down to see the Indoraptor, so nothing more to add from the novel there. Dave, anything else before we get out of here for the week?
No, I think we're good.